Hey y'all, I'm Nikki Winston, and welcome to the Working Mamas podcast. I'm a mompreneur, CPA, and award-winning writer with my career advice featured in your favorite magazines. I'm sharing the accounting tips that business owners need to know, proven methods to make CPA exam studying less stressful, and the career advice and life skills you need to win. You'll also hear the frolics and frustrations of a mother to two growing kids. My guests and I speak the unfiltered, unedited truth and have real conversations about what it really means to do the work. So grab your water, your whiskey, or your coffee, and let's go. Let your network know that you're listening to this episode by using the hashtag #WorkingMamas and tag me at Nick Winston CPA on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Hey y'all, how are y'all doing? What is going on? What is good in the hood? Welcome to another episode. I am on location, still in Atlanta, but just on location, multitasking like us busy moms tend to do. The baby is at dance practice, and I don't have to pick her up for another hour and a half. And so I said, what can I do with this 90 minutes of quote unquote free time that I have? And I decided to record an episode, I guess live and direct. But I wanted to record this episode because it has been a day, okay? And I am really struggling as a mom, and I'm going through these transitions as a mom, and I just need to talk to y'all and hear from some other moms and just let me know I'm not the only person out here dealing with this. So, my husband and I, before I even jump into the notes that I wrote for this actual episode, let me just tell y'all about what happened today. So, me and my husband went on a date. My kids are both virtual learning, and we're working from home, and it's just a lot going on. And I am like beyond in need of a beach vacation. So I think I'm going to just book like an impromptu trip to the beach. We all need it. We can all use it to just decompress. But part of that decompress, my husband is like, hey, it's been a while. I want to take you on a date. Let's go on a date. And so we kept postponing it because it's like, well, we can't go on this day because Booba has football practice. We can't go on this day because Sugar Mama has dance practice and this and this and this. So we kept rescheduling and delaying our date because of all the things that our kids have going on. And I don't know why. The moment I decide to do a live and direct podcast, it's like every motorcycle and every car with loud pipes wants to go by me. So I hope that y'all can hear me okay. But anyway, we decided to go on this date, and we're like, you know what? We just gonna make it a day date. So we did a day date, went out, got some lunch, hung out, had a couple drinks, and well, I had a couple drinks because I wasn't driving. So we sitting at the table, we just ordered our food, and we had ordered the cocktails before. So literally, just as the waiter is bringing our drinks to the table, my phone rings. And I'm like, I don't know who it is because it's an unknown number. And I don't care who it is. The only reason the unknown number got through was because I took the setting off of my phone. I usually silence all the unknown calls. I took it off because I had a couple of meetings earlier this week with some new partners. And so I didn't want to miss their calls. And so I'm like, I don't know who it is. I don't care who it is. And I'm just not answering the phone. My phone stops ringing. And then my husband's phone starts ringing. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously something we need to deal with. Don't know who this is. Lo and behold, it is my son's teacher. Now, again, kids are learning virtually, going to school online, and it's the teacher. Oh, I'm having a hard time interacting with Thomas because his video isn't on, or the sound, something wasn't right with his computer. So, of course, we pissed off. Like, literally, soon as we finally get a day date, this is what we got to deal with. So, long story short, we spent half of our day dates dealing with school issues, laptop connectivity issues, texting back and forth with my son. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop my phone. I'm not dealing with it right now. And it's crazy that that happened today because it's so timely with the discussion I wanted to have today about the transition that I'm going through as a mother. I'm in this torn space of giving my kids the room and the autonomy to grow and develop and learn, but then I'm still looking at them like they 2-year olds, like the little toddlers that I chase after to make sure they didn't fall or play with the sockets. And so I had to, lay it out early like, look, we're best friends. Like one time my daughter told me, like, Mommy, you're my best friend. It's like, yeah, we're best friends, but I'm also your mother. So we've been having these life conversations with the kids. This COVID thing has certainly tested everybody's mental, especially moms. And so I wanted to take this extra time with my kids and delve deeper into life skills, talking to them more. My kids are very social, and so not being able to hang out with their friends has really taken a toll on them. But I wanted to use this time for them to learn some things that they won't learn in the classroom. Having chores, developing good habits, making it a priority to do your chores without being reminded, understanding that when you do your chores, it's for the greater good of the whole house. It's not just, I didn't pick up the bowl because it's not mine. We all live here, and it's a collective effort to keep the house clean, to make sure food is cooked, that everybody's laundry's done, it is taken care of. So I want my kids to be self-sufficient, and I'm working on the switching of the gender roles. So at first, my daughter did the dishes and my son took out the trash. And recently, my son has started cooking. He has taken an interest in cooking. He'll see me making something and, Mom, what you doing? Mommy, what you making? Mom, what you doing? Can I cook? Can I add the seasoning? Can I stir it? Can I mix it? So he's really taken this interest in cooking. And so I've kind of leaned into that. I let him cook a little more, and I want him to know how to take care of himself, to cook a few decent meals. You don't have to be a great chef, but just know how to feed yourself and how to be self-sufficient. So now he's also washing the dishes, loading the dishwasher, something that he was terrible at. But I want him to know that whether you have a girlfriend or not, or a wife or whatever, you still need to know how to take care of yourself, because you ain't going to be coming home on the weekends just for me to do laundry. Like, I might do it on GP, but if I don't want to, you should still be able to do these things on your own. So it has definitely been a struggle for me going through this phase. My son is a couple of months away from being a teenager, and I'm already dealing with the tendencies and the effects from that. But, or not, but really, just along those lines, I want to make sure that the teaching is there. And I say that because I want them to be in tune with their feelings and be comfortable openly expressing how they feel and feeling like they can sit down and talk to me and their dad about anything, whether it's good or bad. The struggle with me and most of my friends who are parents, the struggle is that I didn't grow up like that. 80s babies, we didn't grow up like that. It was not happening. The talking back, the having an opinion, all that is against the black parents' law. And as long as you lived under your parents' roof, you did not have an opinion because you don't pay any bills. So there were things like that I had to learn. And I'm thinking about it like, what do I want my relationships with my kids to look like as they got older? And how do I instill these things in them without shoving it down their throat? Like, you gonna do what I say. And just responding to a question growing up can be misconstrued as you talking back, you being disrespectful. So I want my kids to not feel like, well, my mama telling me don't talk, my mama telling me don't, that I'm talking back. And I want them to get to a point where they feel comfortable talking about anything, especially these ages that they're approaching, those teenage years, and really going through all of the things that these kids go through these days. I don't want my kids feeling like, as the mom, I'm not approachable, that they should keep certain things from me. And I had to unlearn that. I mean, growing up in the 80s, in my opinion, was a privilege. There's so many things that we had, and just so many fond memories I have of things that we did that kids today just cannot do. I mean, it's like, it was almost like living your best childhood life. I learned a lot of street smarts as far as how to move, how to make shit happen, all those essentials. But there were also the things that I had to unlearn, and unlearn them quickly, because I found myself being my mama at times. And the relationship that I have with my kids is in some ways the opposite of the relationship that I have with my parents, because my kids are very vocal and I give them the floor to speak their truths, say what they want to say, express their opinions. And we didn't get that. And there are times when my kids get out of pocket and the Cincinnati in me comes all the way out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to beat your ass. But now that I'm somebody's mama, that's not always the answer. That's not the answer to everything. And so, in the spirit of wanting my kids to communicate and grow their way through these out of pocket moments and being able to rationalize it, because if I beat your ass for doing something wrong, yeah, you crying, that little whooping cry and all of that, but what did you really learn? And you learn that anytime you make a mistake, you will be physically punished for it. And when I say I have wanted to punch my son and my daughter clear in the throat at times, but it's like, okay, we're going to instead make this a teachable moment. And let me get myself to a point where I don't misconstrue my kids expressing themselves as a sign of disrespect. I don't want my kids to feel certain things that I felt growing up, like wondering if it's okay to say things. Um, and being able to have that relationship where you can talk openly and have those conversations and possibly prevent things from happening. You know, like, you, as a teenager, there are things that you want to do or things that you want to say. You might have a boy or a girl that you like, and just all those peer pressure type of moments. And sometimes I feel like kids just need somebody to talk it through with before they do something, just to kind of help them see the full circle of a conversation. So I look at this, like, this transition that I'm referring to as a mom, as just as my kids are growing and developing, I am too. This is new. And I'm realizing, as cliche as it sounds, that they're not babies anymore. And I don't have to change diapers or do those early year things. Now we have to deal with real conversations about money, about the police, about dealing with people, and empathy and discipline and accountability, all of that. And I was just thinking the other day, like, damn, I was just carrying my son in the car seat. And now he's looking at me in my face. Like, we the same height. And pretty soon he's definitely going to be taller than me. So I'm probably going to be looking at him, looking up at him. And that's a crazy feeling. Like, no, I don't want you going in the driveway to play basketball because I can't see you. Just letting go of those things. Like, he's literally right outside the door. I don't need baby gates anymore. He's responsible enough at this point to go outside, open the garage, shoot some hoops in the driveway. And so the other thing I want to address, the other thing I'm unlearning is mom guilt. It's feeling like I'm not enough, I haven't done enough, feeling like I've failed my kids on things that bother me, but they're not even, probably not even tripping about it. And I feel like some of that goes back to the desire of some parents who want to live vicariously through their kids. And that also goes back to other people's opinions, whether it's the dad or the grandparents or friends who want to tell you about your kids. So I don't want to keep beating myself up because I managed to get done 99 out of the 100 things on my list, but I'm beating myself up about that one thing that I didn't do. I'm what's the word I'm looking for? Detoxing, debunking, disassociating myself from any and all forms of mom guilt, because you gotta pat yourself on the back for the things that you did manage to get done. Things like my son going to football practice. Sometimes I can't make every practice, and I'm not gonna feel bad about that. To his team, a practice is just like a game, but it's like, that's not, out of the million and one things on my plate, there's so many other things that need to get done. Like, if I go to football practice every single time, that means that, okay, we probably won't be eating till 10 or 11 o'clock because practice is over at 9. And so just thinking about, again, going back to they're not babies anymore. I don't have to help him put his gear on and find his cleats and all these other things. He knows how to grab all his stuff that he needs, fill up his water bottle, walk to the practice. They're getting a lot more independent. And while a lot of the toddler type of things are no longer there, we have to start looking at other things, talking about money, talking about debit cards, showing them how much things cost, and just to give them the education to say, this is how much something costs. Not for them to form an opinion about whether something is cheap or whether something is expensive, because my approach to that, even with myself, is like, if I want something, I'm going to do what I need to do to get it. It's not about, oh, that's too expensive. It's, how do I achieve this? How do I obtain this? How do I afford this? And so that's another thing with the money, is that's a very delicate conversation, because I don't want my kids to think like you can't have nice things. You absolutely can have nice things, but understand that those things are not going to be just dropped in your lap, and that everything that you get, everything that you obtain or attain, you're going to have to work for it. So that's my rant for now. I am just hearing more and more loud pipes and cars, and I really don't want it to dumb down this episode. So I just had to get that out. Moms, talk to me. Let me know what's going on as you listen to this episode. Share some comments with me. Hit me up on social media at Nick Winston CPA, and just let me know. Just please reassure me that I'm not the only person dealing with these mom struggles. And one of my friends, her kids are older than mine, And she's like, oh, that's it? That's all you dealing with? Like, oh, just wait. And I'm like, what you mean just wait? Like, I can't even deal with what I got to deal with right now. She's like, oh, if that's all you got to gripe about, enjoy it because it's gonna get worse. And now I'm sitting here like, I don't like the sound of that. So y'all let me know how y'all dealing with these mom struggles and this transition from these little kids to these half adults to these preteens to this about to be teenagers. It's a lot. So, thank y'all as always for tuning into this episode. Don't forget to tag me at Nick Winston CPA as you listen to this episode and use the hashtag Working Mamas. That's WERKINMOMMAS. Let me go check on the baby and I will talk to y'all soon. Y'all be good.